Here live at the Fastport Studios in the city of New Orleans. By an Uber drive to the founding home of where trucking radio got its start. I'm going to read a quote from the chat that just opens us up, coming out swinging. Our good friend Star Driver number 1, we know who that is, says, so a foreign driver is caught with a CDL from 5 different states, but I have to show proof of residence to get a CDL. There is a rot that has been going on at the center of the transportation industry, at the center of trucking. And for too long, a lot of our friends out there, those who call this show, those who chat with this show, those who comment on social media, have been alerting us to it. We've done our best to try to cover it, but it took some real investigative powers to really get to the bottom of what's been going on out there. You know, you actually believed your lying eyes. Your eyes weren't lying, of course. I am actually being sarcastic about people being told you're not seeing what you're seeing, you're not feeling what you're feeling, you're not hearing what you're hearing, you're not aware of the things that are directly around you, when in fact you are. Most of you know Dave Nemo, you know, the trucking radio legend who gave up so much for so many of the men and women on the road. Don't forget that just like you, evenings were his domain, and I mean the wee small hours of the morning were his domain. So a lot of the things that you guys missed, he missed as well because he had to get the sleep to be up all night. Little girls, when they're growing up, don't get to see their daddies when their daddies work all night. He's a pioneer of the form. He gets there very soon after Charlie Douglas does, and so there's a lot of people that stake out a lot of territory for a lot of very famous names and a lot of great men. But Dave and Charlie Douglas were there first. You know that he is my father-in-law. So when aspersion is cast upon him, I take it a little more than personally. When he is unkindly treated, it hits a little bit too close to home for my taste. So this story I'm about to tell you this morning, so buckle up, begins with an old familiar. You know, Dave is in the pocket of the ATA. It's not something Dave or I haven't heard before from embittered competitors to grievance peddlers who want to keep you angry, and on this particular occasion, a reedy-voiced pipsqueak with delusions of grandeur. For the past 2 years, a nasty whispering campaign was conducted against my father-in-law. He's lost touch. He's washed up. He's over the hill. The clever, folksy mouthpiece of OOIDA, a soothing lie hiding the truth, a pitchman fernastic, a secret MAGA agenda, a closet liberal, an empty vessel courting no controversy, ducking difficult truths, engendering no opinions, a filler between the actual hard hitters and the real voices of trucking. Right, in the pocket of the ATA. I don't know what pocket that is, Phone Master Dre, but it certainly isn't the one with the money, and never has been. We've heard them all, guys. I can't tell you how many we've heard. Now me, if you've gotten used to listening to my Irish brawling ass on the radio, you know that my first reaction is to respond in kind, to throw a punch, and to get down in the mud with the pigs. But not Dave Nemo. He always says if you get down in the mud, only the pig is happy. Unless, of course, as I say, you bring a knife. But Dave always says focus on the job, conduct yourself with dignity, and let your friends defend you. But what happens when your, and I'm putting these in quotes, friends don't? You know the friends, the ones who built the subscriber base, the ones you built it for, the ones who took away your music to build the rest of your platform, their platform, the ones who used your voice to build their entire merger? What happens when your friends, in quotes, use your name to grow their memberships, construct their businesses, create their nonprofits, and assume they're entitled to your airtime without concession, look the other way when the whispering starts about you? What happens if people whose job it was to protect you, to maintain your client relationships, to defend your brand, can't even bother to listen to your show, or learn about your profession, or train anyone else well to serve you well, and then take your money like they're entitled to it? What happens when your friends, quote unquote, like saying they work for you more than actually working for you? And what about all those friends who said they were with you, in your corner? Men who owed you their very career, who said nothing but gossiped when all that trash talking of that pipsqueak and his stacked fecal matter in a big tall suit were saying all those terrible things. Those friends said nothing. Lost touch. They said nothing. Over the hill, crickets. On the payroll of this company or that, silence. No, nada, not. He's in the pocket of the ATA. 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 But somebody did say something. Somebody actually didn't like hearing that about Dave. Somebody who actually is no friend of the ATA and no friend of anybody who isn't a friend of trucking. Somebody did push back, and when he did, it was like a cannon going off for me, a starter pistol. It woke me up. Someone, and you know who you are, heard that Dave's in the pocket of the ATA and told those guys, the pipsqueak and the fecal matter in a suit, "Are you kidding? That's not true. Dave's on the Rushmore of trucking radio hosts. Dave's not an ATA guy. Dave's a trucking guy." Let me ask you, if Dave's an ATA guy, why does OIDA have Washington Trucking Week? Why did NASTC have safety, compliance, and common sense? If Dave's an ATA guy, why does Dan Ronan continue to be a proud contributing member of Nemo Nation? Dave is an ATA guy in so much as folks from the ATA have info that you need. From New York to these Fastport studios, a real friend, take the quotes off of that, to Hawaii, to Australia, to India, and to Great Britain, folks have gotten up early, broke away from important meetings, and called in the wee small hours of the morning because Dave Nemo has asked them to. I want to put this in perspective. You know the giving tree, Dre? The story of the giving tree? Dave Nemo is the giving tree of trucking. Think about the nonprofits that Dave has helped found and take point on and used his platform not for profit, did not even get paid for a single commercial that profits like TAT, nonprofits like the St. Christopher Fund, which he founded, never took a single nickel or a dime. Heck, given the way some things happened around here, never even got a tax write-off for running those things. Think about the in-kind quality space that was given to those organizations to make you aware of them. By the way, another real friend of the show, another real friend of Dave Nemo's, Reads Across America, is going to be here in just a little bit. But think about how many of you guys have called this show and uttered these very words. I found out about them because of Dave Nemo. Think about the causes. Think about the people who have been saved, the people who have been affected, the truckers whose lives have been changed because Dave Nemo, without enticement or entitlement, gave them a platform to speak. Because Dave, Lindsay, and myself, and everyone here, Phone Master Dre, everyone here at RadioNemo, believes that there needs to be a show that welcomes all the voices of trucking. We don't believe it's a zero-sum game where you have to go out and get a job and then make sure you ruin the people who do the same thing on another platform. That's not what we do around here. We don't play that. There needs to be a place where landline and transport topics can come, where CDL Life and the trucker can come, where Freight Waves and Overdrive can come, where Louis Pugh and Todd Spencer can be followed by Chris Spear, and we can strike that and reverse it and do it the other way so that no favor is given. Heck, we've got invitations out to Kevin Rutherford and Craig Fuller and anybody else of any perspective and persuasion who wants to have a voice in this trucking industry, and we give it to the little guy too. We do. The Boston Trucker, Aubrey Oden, Alex Nino, and anyone else who is cooking up a podcast, screaming up a newsletter, or standing on the side of the road, simply standing up for trucking. Our general manager, Nick DeMeo, my multi-talented wife, Claire Marie, and the inestimable Turtle Garris built a platform to reflect those values, a sandbox for every voice of trucking to have a place to speak and get their word out, a genuine open forum, both live and in perpetuity. That is what the future of Dave's grand tradition of everybody gets a chance to be heard sounds like. That's an open forum. And it's what we will soon look like when our cameras go live in Franklin and when they finally take us on to video from New Orleans. A lot of folks, supposed friends of the show, and the quotes are still around the word friends, have sat around on the sidelines waiting to see what becomes of all of this, have kept their powder dry and their heads down, hedging their bets, hemming and hawing, waiting to see if a guy who has pulled this off 3 times can do it again. But we, because he would say we, built it. And you have come. But if we want to get more, if we want folks to find us, because by the way, when they find us and they stick with us. Check the chat room. Check the number of people. Good morning to you, Ten Ring. Good morning to you, Paranormal Pie Man. Good morning to you, Bruce Almighty, and Lovey and Earl 504. Good morning to Steve. The people who come here do it by choice, not by force. That's what Steve has to say. And that's what I'm telling you right now. But if we want more folks to be a part of this, if we want more folks to find us, and as I said, when they do, man, they stick with us. We need those friends in quotes, to take the quotes off and finally step up, as Dave has stepped up his entire life, to give truckers of all backgrounds and all walks of life a place where they not only get the truth, but the truth as it is seen from every perspective. And that's where you, who have always been the actual Road Gang Radio isn't Lindsay, it isn't me, it isn't Foam Master Dre, it's you. That's where you come in. And don't think I don't see all of you out there reposting and tagging and pushing and prodding and sending us your hard-earned dollars, good God Almighty, to help us create this world. We're tired over here. I won't lie to you. We're tired. We're not daunted, but we're tired. We're bruised, but we're not beaten. And we're ready for the next round. We just need the tools to finish the job. This is where I'm going to get a little bit sharp. A little bit of the old elbow under the basketball goal. They're the only ones not invited on this platform. And only because had they done at the end with class and dignity, had they behaved in a way that was honest, as opposed to lying to Dave directly to his face in a meeting I was in, lying to his face and saying that the host of the 3 to 6 hours, that they barely knew him. They didn't even know who he was, had no idea, and in the blink of an eye, he suddenly got a 3 to 6 slot. Let me tell you something, guys. Everybody's welcome here but them. Why has their sales team worked so hard to undermine and lie about us? They have not told the same story to one particular person. Depending on who they talk to, if it's an influencer who's got a beef with the ATA, he's an ATA guy. If it's somebody who rubs OIDA the wrong way, well, Dave's right there in the pocket of OIDA. And on we go. We don't know why Dave left. Literally told that to somebody. Literally looked somebody in the eye, and I have the receipts, my friend, so if you want to come at me, come at me. Literally looked somebody in the eye and told them as they were trying to steal one of our sponsors, looked them in the eye, told another one of our long-term sponsors that Dave was going to sunset the whole thing and he wasn't going to go on. Told them that. Looked them in the face and told them that. Have the receipts, folks, by the way. Just kind of want to make this point, too. Why did that 3 to 6 host on his platform not only lay radioactive waste on our client relationships, but if we're so done, over the hill, lost, why did he make an effort to steal our entire model of broadcasting? Why did he call every single guest? You know why? Because he doesn't have an original idea in his head. Because Dave Nemo, myself, Lindsay, my wife, Foam Master Dre, and I have been working for the better part of a decade to construct something for you guys that you guys enjoy. And to act like, oh, he's over the hill. He's finished. He's washed up. Oh, but I'm going to take everything from him. I'm going to take it all, because he never had an original idea in his head. Not a thing in his life he hasn't stolen from anybody. Straight up to the point, there it is, deal with it. A word of warning, by the way, for another friend of Dave's, who might host a show in the early hours of the morning. Well, a little bit later than that. Not Tim Ridley. We love Tim Ridley, by the way. Tim Ridley is a great example of how you do things right. A little word of warning to anybody who thinks that they can keep their head down and their mouth shut and look me in the eye and tell me, I don't know what's going on. There's no dinner tonight. Remember, keeping your head down isn't going to stop the lean and hungry eyes of the 3 to 6 host from eventually taking your morning shift.